Welcome back. The Siena women's golf team played the final event of its fall schedule 2 weeks ago, but practice for the spring season has already started. And with 4 talented freshmen on the 6-woman roster, there's a lot to look forward to. But while most freshmen are measured on potential, with Divya Manthena, there's plenty to already celebrate. The 18-year-old Southern California native founded a nonprofit organization several years ago and has already raised tens of thousands of dollars. In fact, 2 years ago, she won the USGA President's Leadership Award. And from Skylar Meadows, which is the home golf course of Siena Golf, we're joined by Divya. Thanks for coming on the show.
Thank you so much for having me.
You're a freshman here at Siena, so you're new to upstate New York because you come from Southern California. Explain to me how you ended up in Loudonville, New York.
Yes, so I'm here playing golf for Siena. I love it so far. And actually, a lot of my family lives out here on the East Coast. I have a lot of family from Michigan, a lot of family from New Jersey. So it's nice to kind of be back here with my side of the family. And I was actually born in New Jersey, so I guess coming back to where I originally came from.
But only lived there for a few years,
yeah,
right? So
right.
The leaves on the ground, the chill in the air, that's got to all be new to you.
Yeah, I think it's new, but it's a good new because I'm going from 70-degree weather to a little bit of diversity in the weather now. But I think it's nice. It'll make me appreciate California even more, I think. But,
well, that's true. You're in for a lot of diversity with the weather in a couple months when the snow comes, just to prepare you. When did you start playing golf?
I started playing golf at the age of 7. I was introduced by my dad. He played a lot of golf in New Jersey when we lived here, so he was basically the first person that introduced me.
And you've been playing ever since, and you're using golf to do good. Tell me about the nonprofit you started, and how old were you when you did that?
All right, so I was about 13 years old actually when I started my nonprofit organization. So my dad and I are the founder. The name of our organization is Krishak. That word means farmer in the Indian language. So basically how we all got started was I drew a lot of inspiration from my forefathers, my great-grandmother, my great-great-grandfather. And just while seeing the destruction on TV after the Japan earthquake and tsunami, I just knew that I had to do something. It just broke my heart to see so many people suffering from something that they could not control. And I didn't know exactly at the time what I wanted to do, but I definitely knew that I couldn't go to Japan, obviously, because, I have to go to school and things like that. But my mom just gave me the idea of why don't you use memes as a way to give back to your community, just people suffering in general. So that's kind of how I got started.
And I want to know more specifically what you've raised money for and how you've done it. But first, you mentioned inspiration comes from your great-grandfather in India. What exactly did he do?
So my great-great-grandfather was actually a freedom fighter for India, served his country, I think, really well. And so just hearing the stories that my parents had to tell me from all the work that he's done, and then also his daughter, which is my great-grandmother, she has an orphanage in India, and so she gives, she really helps the poor children in India. We have food drives every year, and my grandpa's kind of responsible for all that now.
Wow.
But yeah, so just hearing their stories, hearing all the great things my parents had to say about them, I just knew that I didn't need to continue in their footsteps.
And when we think freedom fighters, when we think India, Gandhi comes to mind, and there's a family connection there as well?
Yeah, we're not related or anything like that, but I've heard that my great-great-grandfather had a few interactions with him, things like that, so yeah.
And ended up your great-great-grandfather was in prison for his freedom fighting?
Yeah, my great-grandfather went to prison several times, and then he actually passed away the year before India got its independence. Unfortunately, he didn't get to see that, but we're all here now, so it's great that I can really reflect on those stories, and it's awesome to just have so much inspiration that I can, draw from.
Are you able to quantify how much money you've been able to raise for charity? Yeah,
we've raised about $25,000 to $30,000. So basically, the first year we raised money for the victims of the Japan earthquake and tsunami. That was back in 2011. So we just had our first annual charity golf tournament. We raised about $6,000, which was, I think, pretty good for our first tournament. And then we donated the money to the American Red Cross, and they took it over to Japan. And then the second year, we raised money for the children suffering from cancer at the St. Jude's Children's Research Hospital, Memphis, Tennessee. And we raised about $5,000 for them and donated the proceeds to them. And then this past year, which was, I think, the most, like the one that we raise the most money for, were for the Special Olympics athletes in the local chapter where I'm from, Ventura County. And just I volunteered a lot with the athletes back home. I went to a weekly golf camp that they had every Sunday, played a couple tournaments with the athletes, and just seeing them and seeing their talent for golf, I just knew, because they had been saying a lot about how they didn't have enough funding for their athletes to compete in tournaments, and just seeing their talent made me realize, like, wow, they really need to share their talent with the world. So I raised money for them. We raised about $20,000 for them. So I actually can't wait to go back and hopefully interact with them a little bit more on my breaks and in the summer. So.
Well, now that you're a few thousand miles away, are you going to be able to keep this going?
I definitely want to. I think if I can affiliate it with Siena somehow, that's what I would really love to do. I think that's the next step. I'm not sure exactly how to do that. I'm just a freshman in Siena. But definitely when I go home in the summer, in December, Thanksgiving, I'm going to start planning my next charity golf tournament. We're even hoping it may be in India, maybe in 6 months to a year from now. We're in the early stages of planning, but we're not exactly sure. But if I can do anything with Siena, I think that would be the next step. So right now I'm just trying to get through my freshman year. So.
Well, and getting through your freshman year is going to be a lot more challenging because of your course load than others, because you're interested in pediatrics, is that right?
Yes, so currently I'm a bio major, so I think, like you said, the workload is tough, but it doesn't seem too bad because, like, I love bio and I love playing golf here, so I think I'm really enjoying myself every single day. I've made so many great friends. The weather hasn't been too bad so far, but it is only not even November yet, but I think, yeah, I've been having a lot of fun, and I really, really love Siena. I love the community. Everyone's so friendly, so yeah, I think I'm getting through it.
How far can you hit it off the tee?
About 240.
That's pretty good.
230. 240, I mean, kind of giving myself a couple extra yards, but 230.
You know, I probably outweigh you by close to 100 pounds, and when I put everything into it, maybe I'm about 230, 240 as well. So why don't we go back to campus and go to your facility, turn on the simulator, and see who can hit it further.
All right, sounds good.
All right.
From the on-campus golf facility now, the idea was to take a few hacks each with the driver so you could hit it the furthest, but apparently the simulator is on the fritz, so we don't need this guy. But we've got your putter, and we've got a hole about, I don't know, 25 feet away, so I can find a different way to potentially lose this challenge. 3 putts each. If one of us gets it in first, that person's the winner. Otherwise, whoever has one closest. Deal?
Sounds good.
All right. I mean, obviously you had the speed there. Okay. There we go. That's inside. That's the one to beat right now. This is your third and final attempt. Are you feeling the pressure?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. A hard without. Oh, that's brutal. Now to real course, I'd probably lose by 20 strokes. A lot of fun, though. And if you'd like more information on Divya, her charities, and the wonderful work that she's doing, her website is krishak, KRISHAK.org.